Welcome to Share Talk, the only podcast where investors come first.
Hi, this is Zak Mir with the Bulletin Board Heroes here on Share Talk for Wednesday, the 2nd of September. Starting off with Ascent Resources, where we've been months in this consolidation and drift, I suppose, combined for the shares. It looks like there was a final mini flush out there, little bear trap with the low of the day at 1.75 versus the previous low 1.8. So a tiny bear trap and a gap higher through the 50-day moving average, which is the reason for the inclusion today. Gaps through the 50-day line normally significant, and here also if that's combined with an end-of-day close above, let's say, 2.4 pence, that April resistance line, then we should or could head higher. Initial target obviously up towards May resistance at 3.5. Big picture target for Ascent fans as high as the top of that broadening triangle that I've drawn from March, currently pointing as high as 7 pence, which obviously would be quite miraculous given the recent history of the shares. As far as the stop loss is concerned, probably back below 2 pence now would do the trick, i.e. just below the gap overnight. Just want to follow up on 4D Pharma, which I think I covered probably around that day there, last week of August. There was a slight drift towards 90 pence, but not too much of a pullback there, so not too uncomfortable ahead of the massive move that we've had today. The view at this stage is that obviously we've had a great run and a big run, but holding above, I suppose, the 120, 125 area, the old November resistance zone, we could still have a best case scenario target up to that May 2019 resistance line projection as high as £1.80, but it's worth seeing how the stock will behave on any dip towards the 120s. Wanted to cover Dev Clever, which although it's been rather quiet of late, the interesting part here is that we've had support for the shares basically since that July probe in fact, wholly above the 50-day moving average, currently at 8.3 pence. That's normally something you see in the stronger of situations. So while there's no need for a touch of the 50-day line at 8.3 pence, and that's obviously the stop loss area, we could be looking towards the top of the rising trend channel from back in December, currently pointing to a target as high as 14 pence over the next, let's say, 4 to 6 weeks. If you're cautious on the shares, maybe wait for that line of resistance from August to be broken around the 9 pence level on an end-of-day close basis. Triple E has managed to revive itself of late. We've seen the price channel here has been in place since February. Floor of the channel around currently now around 2.2 pence. Support coming in now above the 50-day line at 2.36. Probably just looking for an end-of-day close above 3 pence now. We've had a bit of resistance there in recent days. End-of-day close above 3 pence could take the shares up to the price channel top back at 5 pence. Big picture target up to 8 pence, which is a resistance line projection from February. Next stock is a new one, I think totally new for the Bulletin Board Heroes, which is quite an achievement. Ferro-Alloy Resources, and the reason for the excitement here on technical basis is that even though we've already moved up a long way, firstly that we had a gap higher, which is still there on the chart from overnight. Also we've broken the 200-day moving average at 11.69 pence in one go, which looks pretty healthy. We have actually peaked so far, I suppose, at the February resistance level, but as long as we're above the 200-day line at 11.7 pence roughly, the upside here could be the top of that rising or that broadening triangle from December as high as 22 or even 23 pence over the next few weeks. Rather more sedate progress at Galileo Resources. Here we had consolidation, but again, it's positive consolidation in the sense that we haven't been back below the 50-day line on this particular price action that we've had over the last month. And the view here is at least while we're above the floor of the rising trend channel from the end of March, around the 0.86 pence level, we're looking to the top of that rising trend channel from the end of March, currently pointing up towards the 1.5 pence area. Ironveld as well in focus at the moment, and here you can see that shares gapped up rather strongly after breaking that triangle really around the and the 50-day moving average around 0.91 yesterday. What will be interesting to see today is if we can get an end-of-day close above 1.15, which was the initial May resistance. Basically above 1.15, we're looking to the top of a rising trend channel from back, this time last year, in fact, up towards the 2.1 pence level. And that's estimated to arrive as soon as the end of next month. Another stock which we kept an eye on for quite a while, but looks like it's finally getting off the ground. Keras Resources, another triangle break there, breaking the 20-day moving average, 0.13. Above that, up above the 20-day line, looking for further progress. We're already at the 200-day moving average, which is quite impressive, 0.15. An end-of-day close above the 200-day line should be enough to take the shares up to the top of the rising trend channel from March up to 0.25 again as soon as the end of next month. Primorus is next, and this is looking quite encouraging, and you'll see why in a minute, just because of the gaps the shares have delivered in the recent past. Gap there through the 200-day line in April was a pretty good signal, and actually a good sign of what was to come, as it normally is. That was an island reversal as well, so pretty strong stuff here. Sideways consolidation as well, and it looks like we're just breaking the logjam now. The old peaks around 3.7 pence. So an end-of-day close at 3.7 pence plus today should be enough to take the shares up to the top of the rising February trend channel at up to 5.25 by the end of next month. Stop loss at the moment, probably an end-of-day close back below the 50-day line at 3.22 pence. Ted Baker, not normally the sort of stock I look at here, but for some reason it just seemed rather interesting. I think partly because Tosca Fund are a big shareholder there, and they've been adding to their position. Here we had the initial spike for August up to £1.13. Came back slightly painfully back to the 90 pence level, so that's quite a retracement. But an end-of-day close today above 1.13 should be enough to take the shares at least up to the top of that rising trend channel from July up to £1.30. Big picture target up to the March resistance line projection up to £1.72. Although what could do that in a retail stock at the moment? Nobody knows, or maybe somebody can tell me what the answer is on that. Next stock today is Thor Mining. Here we've got the shares, I suppose, in this sort of W-shaped flag, which is an interesting formation. End of day close today above that mid-August peak at 0.72 should be enough to get the shares on a journey up towards the top of that rising trend channel. Drawn from December at 1.05, hopefully over the next 4 to 6 weeks. Finishing off with one of the more frustrating stocks that has been around in the resources space, United Oil and Gas. About 100 different attempts by the shares over the last year or so to clear the 3.5 to 4 pence resistance zone. The line of resistance that I've drawn there from July last year looks as though it looked as though it was broken both at the beginning of August and the middle of August, and hopefully it's third time lucky. If you're a bull of the stock, you'd already be long on the basis of the break above 3 pence. If you're cautious, though, I suppose a weekly close above 3.5 pence is really what we're looking for here. If we get that, then the shares could finally live up to at least part of their promise and head up to 5.25 pence, which is the top of a rising April 2019 price channel. That's it for me today. More updates tomorrow.
Thank you for listening. Remember to visit our website for more news and other podcasts at www.share-talk.com.